As expected, a steering committee is set up to ensure the success of the action plan.
We cannot realistically police a country the size of Nigeria centrally from Abuja.
Nigeria's Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, at a security summit organized by the National Assembly, advocates the establishment of state policing, an issue under debate.
For a country our size to meet the 1 policeman to 400 persons, the UN prescribed ratio, would require nearly triple our current police force. Far more funding of the police, far more funding of the military and security agencies is required. Third, we cannot realistically police a country the size of Nigeria centrally from Abuja. State police and other community policing methods are clearly the way to go. Every Nigerian is entitled to adequate security from government for their lives and livelihoods. Government fails in that responsibility often, but I must say never deliberately. Every killing demeans us as a people. Every killing undermines the authority of the state. This is why the suggestion sometimes that because the president is Fulani, he has ignored the killings by herdsmen is both untrue and unfair. In any event, the herdsmen and farmer clashes resulting in deaths have been with us for at least 2 decades. And I've worked with him for 3 years now. And I do not know of any one issue that has given him more concern or on which he has spent more time with security chiefs as this particular issue. And lastly, that we must avoid the danger of allowing this conflict to harden into religious or ethnic conflict. This is the responsibility of political, religious, and all other parts of our leadership elite in Nigeria.
His position is endorsed by state governors who highlight the importance of such an idea.
We have reiterated the position of the Vice President and the position of that the security summit that we held in August, that there's a need for the state police, and we can say it's only the answer.
This is not going down well with members of the coalition of northern groups. They oppose the idea, insisting that it will be counterproductive.
The recent calls for the establishment of state police, which obviously is a recipe for disaster. The state police is just a license for the state governors to formalize their militia and set them to hound opponents and assist in organizing sham elections. We also view it as a ploy by the federal government to abdicate its responsibilities, and thus must be resisted by all and sundry.
There is no legislation yet on state policing. However, the coalition of northern groups call on security agencies to be fully alive to their responsibilities. A statement credited to Amnesty International claims that clashes between farmers and herdsmen have claimed at least over 160 lives in 2018 alone, and in 2017, over 500 deaths were recorded across 14 states, while thousands were displaced. The agency maintains that the Nigerian government's response to communal violence is inadequate, too slow and ineffective, and in some cases unlawful.
We as a people need to start thinking about how to combat climate change. What are the options? What are the alternatives? Those discussions need to be had in addition to how you ensure that a people's livelihood can move beyond a situation of conflict as a result of finding alternatives in order to carry out their trade, but rather to live in harmony with other people. And those discussions need to be facilitated in a mutually respecting manner. And most importantly, there needs to be a prevention of further attacks. And this can only happen if a long-term strategy is put in place to ensure that when people move from place to place, because today we're talking about herders and farmers conflicts, we're also going to see a shift also between urban and rural populations. That has already started happening. And in a couple of years, you'll find that more people live in urban areas than rural areas. Then what happens in those situations? How do we deal with rising crime levels in the cities? So the solution is a holistic view to ensure you can prevent people from taking the rights of others, especially when you talk about life, someone's life. It's a crime and it's something that should be prevented. And then for those that have happened in the past, you need to be able to address it. Because in a law-abiding society, people need to feel that everybody is treated equally and everybody has equal standing before the law. And at the moment, that situation is not clear at all. And we need to do a lot more as a people, as a government, to ensure that we can offer this kind of protection and this kind of assurance. And it will only happen if perpetrators of crimes or violations are brought to book and the communities are repatriated and are given enough resources in order to address their socioeconomic needs.
This press briefing is intended to bring to you updates on our troops' operational activities covering from mid-December, when I took over, to mid-February 2018.
14th February, the theater commander of Operation Lafia Dole in Borno State intimates the public on the military's activities.
The period under review has been characterized by heavy artillery and aerial bombardments, culminating in a series of ground offensives to clear identified Boko Haram enclaves in the islands of Lake Chad, areas also known as the Tumbus, and Camp Zero in the Sambisa forest. I may need to make some illustration here. This is general area of the Sambisa extension. We've been able to break the heart and soul of the Shekau group in the Sambisa forest. As I speak, our troops are in total control of the whole of the Sambisa forest. We are running around the place, following them wherever they go to, and I assure you there's no hiding place for any of them. Many insurgents have been killed, others have fled for safety, while some others surrendered to our troops and allies in multinational joint task force. Many others insurgents who escaped from the onslaught took advantage of the amnesty offered by the Nigerian government to surrender to the Nigerian Defense Forces. Our close air support provided by the Air Task Force and artillery bombardments were further reinforced by ground troops, with blocking forces that denied insurgents freedom of action and access to logistics, thereby canalizing them to Camp Zero in the Sambisa forest. I've earlier explained to you the diagram of the area of Camp Zero. Our troops are also tracking and hunting down the fleeing insurgents with fighting patrols and ambushes within the whole of the theater and also outside the theater. A look at troops' encounter with the Boko Haram. Troops of Operation Lafia Dole sustained precursor operations to clear Boko Haram enclaves in the fringes and identified islands of the Chad area, with devastating consequences on the adversary. These precursor operations dovetailed into Operation Pt.2, which is a major coordinated land, maritime, and air operation to root out the insurgents from their enclaves in the Lake Chad area and also in the Sambisa. We've adopted long-range fighting patrols and also continue to trail and seek out Boko Haram hideouts, as well as protect liberated areas from fleeing and prowling Boko Haram elements. Now, a look at clearance, patrols, and ambush operations. On the 12th December 2017, a combined troop Operation Lafia Dole and elements of civilian joint task force and the vigilante cleared the general area of 5 Dandere in Damboa local government area of Borno State. The troops destroyed the camps at Adole and Yajua. The troops also captured and destroyed 5 motorcycles, 14 bicycles, grinding machines, motorcycles, workshop, foodstuff, improvised explosive device materials abandoned by fleeing Boko Haram in the camps.